Okay. All right, let's go. Yeah. We only have till the mincha. What time is mincha?
8:15.
No, 8:20.
What do you say?
8:20. It starts at 8:30.
His internet is frozen.
No choppy over here. And I'm right down the block.
Oh, you're local?
Rabbi Kranz, my daughter's apartment.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Okay, so let's go. Sif test, Siman test, Siman test, Sif test. Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, yeah? This actually will tie in a little bit to what's negaya to this week, to the fast day. So anyway, so ein mevarchan ala tzitzis. You don't make a bracha on tzitzis, ela b'yom v'loy v'layla. We only make a bracha on tzitzis during the day and not at night. Right? U'lechatchila yizar shelo yivarach lehem ad sheyeh kol kach yom sheyaker bein tchelas lavan. And lechatchila, you have to be careful not to make a bracha on them until it's light enough that you can be makir bein tchelas lavan. So any kid that's going to be learning in the summer camp, right? This is like the number one Gemara to learn in brachas in summer camps. Tchelas lalavan, and then of course they say I got to stay up all night in order to figure out when the tchelas lalavan is. Yeah, that's in Yonah Diyam, right? But excuse me. But anyways, but the point is, it says lechatchila, you should be careful. But that means that if you made a bracha on talis and tefillin from alois, then you're okay. And he says it here in the footnote 48 here in this sefer that we use. He says, then it's mutter to make a bracha from alois hashachar. Lechatchila, you shouldn't make it before Misha Yaker. Right? And he's supposed to be very careful. So this is not a summer issue. This is a winter issue when alois is like 6:15 in the morning. Right? It's like 6:15 and Misha Yaker was whatever. We'll get to that in a minute. 20 minutes later, whatever, 20, half hour later, whichever shoe you go with. So then you have a big problem with those that daven early, right? Which is why many minyanim when they're at that time limit, they daven up to Yishtabach without the talis and tefillin, and then after Yishtabach they put on the talis and tefillin.
Or you put it on, or there are some minyanim that they put it on and then they
make the bracha and they move it and they make
the whole davening and then wait.
Right, but so okay, but that's not so bad. We all look at these guys like they're doing something wrong. It's not. The lechatchila is
This is tefillin also, right?
Yeah, talis and tefillin go together. Yeah. Now, what is the zman? So here he brings in the footnote. He brings. Some say it's an hour before nets. Some say it's 52 minutes before nets, and some say 57, and some say 35. Right, and then some say that it alternates depending on your who? Misha Yaker. That's Misha Yaker. He's not talking about what time alois. Alois is also machlokes. When is alois? What? No.
Everything's a machlokes.
Everything is a machlokes. That's true.
You're 35.
35? I don't know what most calendars go with. I have no idea. Interesting. I think most are going to go with 35. But this is okay. What time alois is? That's either it also goes with the atmosphere, or it goes with. Do you just say 72 minutes, which is negaya to the? Well, it's not really negaya to the fast days in the summer, because alois is meaning ikar adin. The day starts from alois, even though it's pitch dark outside. The day starts from alois. Right? So let's say ikar adin. The reason why we wait till nets is because people are going to confuse the two. So therefore, lechatchila, we wait till nets. Right?
So if you're really in a bind, you can. What's the earliest you can put on
alois?
They say I have a footnote also that says v'di'evan nira da'afilu berach kodev avodas shachar leyachsav yivarach.
That's do they call Ramesh on that?
No, they said the Shem halacha karash.
Yeah, so Ramesh Paskins that even if you can put on talis and tefillin even before alois if necessary.
So that so in a real b'di'evan situation you can do it.
That's what they do.
After alois or before alois?
Before.
I would say you could do it, but then usually you'll have enough time later in the day to put on tefillin again, put on the talis and tefillin again, right? Usually you'll have some time to do it during the day, so at least you should be yotzim, unless you're flying. So that gets into the whole stadium thing. So what's better, to daven on a plane or to daven at home before Mishayak? I'm not going to say before Alois. That already I don't know. I don't know. What's better, to daven talis and tefillin before Mishayak from Alois, which works according to the halacha, and you'll be able to daven like a semi-normal person, or to daven on the plane and deal with all that stress, right? Or in the airport. I would say daven after Alois. Personally, that's what I would think. I don't have any maramakam on that, right? Yeah, but anyway, so it also comes into the fast days. The 4 Tanaisim start from Alois. They don't start any earlier than that, without getting into the whole Arizal that once you go to sleep, you makabel the fast. But it's not really negay in the summer because Alois is what? 4? But I guess for some people it's negay.
4:15.
For now it's 4:15, right? It's 4:15, yeah. So okay, it's a little. I mean, still early. Still pretty early, but yeah. Anyways, so that's that. So then weiter in the Kitzur. Vim lavash as a talis cotton by Laila. Let's say you wore the talis cotton when it was night. Yeah. And you didn't make a brach on it. Or you put on your tzitzis before your hands were clean. You didn't make a bracha. Meaning, so you get up in the winter. What many people get up, right? Before the Zman Mishayaker. Right? So you can't make the bracha on the talis and the talis cotton, the tzitzis, right? Or you get up in the morning, the first thing you're supposed to do, taka, is contrary to what many people do, but you're supposed to put your tzitzis on before you walk to the bathroom. Right?
So that means you washed your hands already.
No, you should be putting on your tzitzis. I don't do it either. I'm just saying, but you're supposed to put on the tzitzis before. You're not supposed to walk without tzitzis.
You don't have to put on tzitzis.
I understand that, but we go with the you don't have to put on tzitzis at all. You're right. But Lamaisa, the hanhaga that we have that you're supposed
Obviously
to.
not.
Is a what do you mean?
The hanhaga that we don't have.
But the hanhaga is that you're not supposed to walk without tzitzis.
No one.
So, but the problem is that you put on. What? Maybe, right? That could be why it gets in the way, whatever it is. But good. So you put it on now. How do you make a bracha? You already put it on. So then when you put on your talis gadol, then you have in mind the talis cotton, which we already discussed, that most of Klal Yisrael, the minhag is that they don't make a bracha on their talis cotton at all. Most married people do not make a bracha on their tzitzis. They make a bracha on the talis. Umisha yesh le talis gadol, and somebody, Meisha ain't le talis gadol, and somebody does not have a talis gadol. Sim loivesh es a talis cotton b'yoyim. So if you put on the talis cotton b'yoyim b'yodav nikiyas, and your hands are clean, yivarach al mitzvahs tzitzis, then you do make a bracha al mitzvahs tzitzis, because you don't have a talis. If you know you're not going to have a talis, so when you put on your tzitzis, you make the bracha. Right? Let's say you put on the tzitzis. This is negayat the bachram. You put on the tzitzis when you can't make a bracha. So now what do you do? This I never understood. Maybe the other can try and have pshat. When it's day and your hands are clean, you take the tzitzis in your hand.
Without moving it around or adjusting it or anything.
Yeah. Now the reason why you're doing this is because, like we learned last week, you have to make a bracha over lasiyasa, meaning you're supposed to make the bracha before you put on the tzitzis. Right? So if you put the bracha, you put it on before you make the bracha on the tzitzis. If you already put it on, so now what you have to do is you have to do some sort of maisa in the tzitzis. So the kids are saying, pick up the tzitzis and hold it. It doesn't even say shake it. and then you make the bracha on the
You have to
tzitzis.
move it, you have to.
Right. So I don't. So some say you move the tzitzis also. I don't understand. Why can't you just take off the tzitzis?
You have your shirt on top.
That's the whole reason. It's a good reason. Masking, but let's say you chsidish and your tzitzis on top of you, on top. Maybe.
That's
So you
proof.
I'm
That's
saying,
proof-
why
that's
can't you just
proof
take it
against
off? Unless the only thing I could think, right, is that when you take it off, now it's a new mitzvah. So you lost the bracha on the original wearing, maybe. No, that's another thing. Really, Mikra, if you take off your talis or your tzitzis for, you go take a shower in the middle of the day, you put back on your tzitzis, you make a new bracha?
No.
No, because it wasn't a long enough time. What's the amount of time? The place can say 2 to 3 hours. So if you take a nap, it's a big shaila, which I don't know if we'll get to it. Yeah, he's going to get to it in a minute, but let's hold off on the nap.
Take a nap. What's
Yeah.
your tzitzis?
That's exactly right. That's to get you out of all the shilas. Take a nap, or use your tzitzis as a blanket. You use your tzitzis as a blanket, then that also works. Anyway, so you hold the tzitzis in your hand, then you make the bracha. If you're going to sleep in the talis katan, it means at night. Then don't make a bracha at all.
You're not supposed to go to
Right.
sleep in it.
Yeah, well, see them hold it. You do. We discussed it a bunch of weeks ago that
Why
reason
those who were
You
here?
make a bracha,
because you wore it the whole night.
but you weren't doing a mitzvah. What's the difference?
No, but once it's on you, it's on you. You can't make a bracha that you're being loivish tzitzis if it's already on you.
I don't understand.
That's
It's not a mitzvah. It's not a mitzvah then. So if I hold my lulav and esrog the whole night, I don't make a bracha in the morning on lulav and esrog.
I think not. I would
Okay,
think. I would think.
Okay, fine.
Unless you take it to a ball game, then maybe that's considered
If you're chabadshka, you take it to the ball game so people should
Right,
bench in
right.
the thing.
So maybe that's a hesach hadas from the lulav and esrog. Yeah, but that's what he's saying. When you wear your talis gadol, and you have kavanah to pater up the talis katan. Yeah. Now, so this is very negaya to summer camps. I don't think the Olam Present Company is holding by summer camps, but lamaisa, you change your tzitzis. Let's say you're the fruma and you put on your sports tzitzis, right? Or you take off your tzitzis to play ball, whichever way you decide to do, and you play ball, then you go swimming, and then so you got to make a new bracha. Even
You don't swim with your tzitzis on, what do you mean?
what?
When you don't swim with your tzitzis on?
Some actually say you should swim with your tzitzis on, but
Crocs make special tzitzis.
but that's the time where
You
where
guys who also own sperm stores say you should swim with your tzitzis on.
especially wool tzitzis. Yeah. But that's the time where somebody who never makes an al mitzvah tzitzis, because most of us that are not making the bracha on the talis katan only make lisade but tzitzis. We already forget. I couldn't remember the bracha when I started changing my tzitzis during the day. So what bracha do you make on tzitzis? I asked one of my kids, I said, what bracha do we make on tzitzis? He looks at me like, what? I mean, what is with this fellow? So I had to explain to them that it's
He probably thought he is learning too much about lace shape.
yeah, so maybe whatever it is, it was actually pretty funny. So yes, and I got it down pat that it's on mitzvah tzitzis, but I wasn't used to it. But so they say the 2 to 3 hours, or if you switch tzitzis. So then I know what had happened when I decided this. That's what it was, not ball playing. When I started getting from to start putting on a pair of tzitzis for the covered Shabbos. A Shabbos they pair of tzitzis, not the same pair. So that's a new pair of tzitzis. So that you zichar have to make a new bracha. Now, another eschatayani masker, most of the time I'm putting on that new pair of tzitzis after the shkia. So it's not negaya the bracha. Right? But I don't say that with pride, but that's just the way it rolls.
Tzitzis.
It's a new tzitzis. If you put on a Shabbos pair of tzitzis and it's during the day, Friday afternoon,
You learn something.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. That's what I said. That's the same issue. What's the bracha? Right, al mitzvah tzitzis, right? Unless no, the only thing is like this. Let's say you daven. Let's say let's talk an extreme case. You have a chassidish guy and he's davening shachris at 12 o'clock. Okay, let's say I'm in the land of the Satmar now, upstate. So right, so they're davening shachris at 12 o'clock. Then he's going to take a shower by chatzos. So it's only an hour or two between taking off his weekday tzitzis and putting on his Shabbos day tzitzis. I mean a shower. I mean mikvah.
No, but it's a new.
So since but if you had it in mind,
in the morning.
see, you could theoretically. Why can't you have it in mind in the morning when you put on the tzitzis in the morning? Let's say you daven at 7 o'clock. Why can't you have in mind that at 5 o'clock you're going to put on? That's too much. You can't. That's too much of a hefsek. Yeah, it's too much of a gap. But if the gap will be 2-3 hours, then maybe you could have it in mind, Taka.
Even though if it's a kfiyas,
Even if it's a kiyas.
does that make a difference?
I don't know how you would define
Meaning you're going to do it every
kiyas.
Erev Shabbos.
No, but it doesn't. It's not. It's still too long. It's too far. The best thing they say, the place can say, to not have any sort of issues is to have in mind dafka that you're making your bracha in the morning is only for the talis and the talis kohen and not included your next. And then for sure, 100% without any svekas, you have to make a new bracha. Same thing that if you know you can only go swimming for an hour or an hour and a half, 2 hours in that area, now it's a suffix, whether that's a hefsek. So the best thing to do is when you make the bracha in the morning, have in mind that this bracha is only covering you until whether till you go swimming, and that's it. What?
That means you need to remember.
It's another thing to remember in the morning. You also have to have your schedule, whether
It means you have to have
swimming.
machshava when you're making the bracha.
That's another issue, having machshava when you make a bracha. Now you're having machshavas with kavana, no kavana. Yeah, whatever. Yes. Anyways, fine. So that's that. Right. Anything else that we didn't discuss with this? Okay, fine. Yeah, Yud. Yeah, Haposha Talisa v'daita laso. We jumped the gun. We really should have discussed it here. Haposha Talisa v'daita laso love shemiyad. You take off your talis and you das it to put it right back on. I mean, you go to the bathroom, etc. Afilu halach lebeis hakisei. Even if you go to the bathroom, which is normally a place where we don't put, right? So maybe that's an automatic hefsek. When you go back and wear it, you don't make a bracha. Why? Thank you. Since me'ikar adin, you can go with a talis. Obviously, we go to the bathroom with our talis cut. But even me'ikar adin, you can go into the bathroom with a talis gadol. It's not a hefsek. Masha'en king tefillin, right? Tefillin. If you take off your tefillin to go to, we don't. But correct. But the ikar din is that you can. It's the reason why you're not going in with this because of beged for tefillin. But out the tefillin. What? Not about tefillin. So if you go to the bathroom for tefillin for ketanim, since me'ikar adin, you're allowed to go to the bathroom with ketanim with tefillin on, meaning not in a beis hakisei. But let's say you went outside to the bathroom. Then me'ikar adin, you're allowed to go to the bathroom ketanim.
Just cover your tefillin and go.
Yeah.
You cover.
You move it away. You go. Yeah, that's what you do. Meaning ikar adin for ketanim, you're allowed to go to the bathroom even with the tefillin. But gedolim, you're not allowed. So if you go to the bathroom for gedolim and then you put back on your tefillin, you have to make a new bracha, right? Because it's all tali, and if it's an automatic hesach hadas. Oh, so then how come you don't have to make a bichas? If you go to the bathroom for gedolim, yes, because since it was usher for you, when it's usher for you to have it on, then your new placing of the tefillin is considered a new. You can't the original bracha can't have it in mind, right? So it's an interesting question. So then, how come every time you go to the bathroom, you don't have to make a new birchas haTorah, right? You're not allowed to learn in the bathroom. It's true, but lamaisa, you're not allowed to. That's why many men spend a lot of time in the bathroom like this. They say there's no time on me why I'm not learning. Right? So lamaisa, how come you don't need to make a new birchas haTorah? So that the place can say is because there's halachas that you have to keep in the bathroom. So since there's halachas you have to keep when you're in the bathroom, that's not a hesach hadas. Follow?
How about how about Yom Kippur? When you come back from
Oh, so
mitzvah.
Yom Kippur, right? So that's the big shiloh. The big shiloh is when you take off the talis for the break on Yom Kippur. So that's a raya that you should daven in a yeshiva that there's no break, right? That's why there's very little about it. Or about a chassidim, or have a 4-hour. Very good. I have a 4-hour break, then there's no shiloh either. Yeah. Anyway, so. But okay, so if you put it right back on, so that's fine. But let's say you had in mind that you're not putting the talis back on. But nimlach, and you changed your mind. And you were chayzer and you wore it, then tzarich levarach, because again, you're masiyach tas. Whenever you masiyach tas from something, you have to make a new bracha. Yeah. So then there's a big tumult. I don't know. What happens if your talis falls off in the middle of davening? Fairly common occurrence. What? 1 second. No. Okay, but he's no. He discussed it, but I'm saying the footnote. If he discusses, v'im nafla. 1 second. V'im nafla talisa mimenu shaloi b'mischav. Let's say your talis falls off you without kavana. So in miktzas nishar al gufay, if some of the talis is on your body, alpha pisharuba nafal, even though most of the talis falls down. Since some of the mitzvahs on there, you don't need to make a new bracha. If there's nothing left on your body, even though you're still holding it in your hand, since the mitzvah is no longer on your body, the mitzvah is not to hold the talis in your hand, to keep your body wrapped in it. Therefore, you have to go back and make a new bracha if it falls off. We do. So do we hold by that? So the Mishnah Brura paskins that yes, and I think it's even the Shulchan Aruch. I think Shulchan Aruch. Yeah, it's the Shulchan Aruch. This is a fascinating thing because the Shulchan Aruch paskins that you make a new bracha. The minig in the Welt is not to make a new bracha, right? So he brings in the footnote that many Rishonim hold that you don't make a bracha.
What happened if you give the talis to
And 1 second, but what do you mean many Rishonim? The Shulchan Aruch also knew about these Rishonim, right? He knew good and well about the Rishonim. So what? We're smarter than the Shulchan Aruch.
Cut.
Oh, so combined that you're wearing a talis katan, and now for Sfardim it might change. A lot of Sfarim don't wear talis katan. A lot of Sfarim, the Hanoga was not to wear talis katan. So with a combination that you're still wearing a talis katan, so at least you have something in mind. So noga oilam shaloi levarach shuv on afilas talis. So therefore, the Welt, the minig in the Welt is not to make a bracha on talis. Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says this, that it became a minig not to.
Rabbi Stein, on topic but off topic. What about if someone has one of these massive bath towels and they're wrapping it around themselves to dry and they're going to wear it for a little while?
It's not.
You were talking about how the Hasidim, about how the Rebbes wear their talis and they wrap it around their body.
Right, but it's not. But a towel is not a malbush. It's not a clothing. It's not. If you make it into a clothing, then a chanami. Yeah, you would have to what?
Make a hole in the middle.
Even if you don't make a hole in the middle, if you use.
It's a towel.
So what's the difference between a towel and a talus? That's what he's asking. The same thing. It's just one. Correct. So Kolzman, his towel is just meant. No, but if a guy decides he's wearing a towel, that's his thing. He's wearing a towel. Yeah, it could be he's a shaitan. It could be it could be no, but that's yeah, but that
That's the shiloh.
fine. V'im eira loy kain b'tfilasai b'makom she'en r'shay l'hafsik. Yeah.
I'm saying if he had a case where he stole the towel from the Waldorf Astoria and it cost more than his talus. That's the case.
Okay, maybe.
Just talking about you.
Oh, yeah. More common, Jesse, is scarves. You know, some of these guys come back from Eretz Yisrael. You know, like it seems like in Eretz Yisrael, You come back from Eretz Yisrael, you got to wear a scarf around your neck with no coat, no nothing, but a scarf around your neck, right? So I'm in Eretz Yisrael. So now,
But it's not big enough.
No, a lot of them have, they're very large, and you fold them
But
up.
they're not as big as those Band-Aid taluses the
Yeah, but
conservative
it's still
schools have.
no. But a lot of these things are a
Yeah?
shear.
Wow.
They're a shear. Yeah. So it's not so simple. Why? What's this? It must have been a real from Eretz Yisrael.
Did it have tchelis on it? Did it have tchelis on it?
Yeah. So ve'im eira loikein b'tfilasai b'makom shein r'shay lahafsik. And if this happens during davening, okay, so we said already we don't make a bracha if it falls off. But according to those that do, now what do? You put on the talus. In middle of Kriya Shema, your talus falls off. Right? So in middle of Kriya Shema, your talus falls off. So then you have to put it back on, but you can't make a bracha. And then again, and then you hold on to the tzitzis in your hand, and then you make the bracha. Right? So that's
What happens if you give a talus to someone to get a leah? It's making you bracha.
no, because that's a good cat. You give your talus away for aliyah, for duchening, you have your das to put it right back on. But let's say you said, oh, your duchenings and then the davening. You say, oh yeah, I'm going to give it to him. No, don't bother. And then you get called up to sing on his mirrors or something. So then and a chanami, you'd have to make a new bracha. Okay, fine.
Exactly. No share next week.
No shir, unless it'll be shir on Zoom. If you want to do it. Yosef, welcome, but I'm sorry that we did early. I don't know if you saw, we did early today.
It's
All
okay.
right.
Thank you so much.
Okay, it's good to see you, or at least your picture.
Well, I'm sorry. It's just that
All right.
I'm outside.
So long. We get you next week.
Okay.
All right. So long.